If you're a US citizen married to a foreign national and you guys are going through the visa process, a Supreme Court decision is going to make it very difficult for US citizen to challenge US Embassy visa denials. If you're a US citizen going through the green card process with your foreign spouse abroad, a recent Supreme Court decision has made it very difficult to sue the government if your visa is denied. I'm going to explain to you about this court decision that is going to make a big difference in how we process these visa cases, and it's going to make it very difficult for those of you that are waiting right now for those interviews, and by the time you get to the interview, they deny your case, and guess what? Your options are now even more limited. I want to tell you exactly what this case is about, why it's happening, and some options looking forward. Now guys, before we do that, if you're here for the first time, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos, and also give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show this video to more people just like you. As always, if you need help with your immigration matters, send me a text 619-483-4549 or go to www.immigrationasap.com, leave your details there, and our team member will contact you. Now, this is a huge court decision that just came out a couple of days ago, and I think it's really important to discuss it here and understand what it means. The case is called the State Department versus Munoz. Somewhere here on the screen you can see the decision itself, the page from the decision. In this case, the Supreme Court significantly changed how American citizens can react, can respond when the visa of their spouses, their foreign spouse, is denied before a U.S. consular abroad. This ruling 6 versus 3 in the Supreme Court may impact how these green card cases are going to be moving forward from now on. This decision has a few key important lessons to remember. One, it expands the doctrine of non-reviewability of consular officer, which means that consular officer decisions are essentially cannot be reviewed or appealed, unlike decisions of USCIS officers where we can appeal, we can refile, we can reconsider. You can't do that before a consular officer, and now they take it an extra level. Even for green card cases of spouses of US citizens, even those cases they're saying you can't challenge in court based on your constitutional rights as a US citizen. This court specifically addressed this point where it says you as a citizen, you're a citizen, you have a constitutional right to be with your spouse, that's great, but they're saying that even as a US citizen, your constitutional rights are not extended to consular officers' visa decision denials like in this case. But the most annoying thing is that this court ruling says that as a US citizen, you're not even allowed to bring even further evidence to refute the consular officer decision, to say, hey, you might have made a mistake, look at it again, here's evidence. The court says no, we won't accept any evidence. The decision of the consular officer is final. So what happened in this case, the Munoz case? There's Sandra Munoz, a US citizen, and Luis Cordero, who was the foreign national. Ms. Munoz is a US citizen working as a civil rights attorney in Los Angeles. Her husband, Mr. Cordero, is a national of El Salvador. And what happened when Mr. Cordero went through the whole lengthy process of applying for a US visa based on marriage to a US citizen, he went through the whole lengthy process. As many of you watching this channel, applied for the I-130, he went to the National Visa Center, he was patiently waiting there for a couple of years, and then finally he had this visa interview at the US Embassy in El Salvador, and guess what? The US consular officer denied his green card application based on marriage to a US citizen. Denial was unexpected because they had all the evidence, all the bona fide documents I tell in the videos. They had all the financial documents. She makes a very good living as an attorney. They have a long relationship together. We can show all the bona fides. The decision was very unexpected. Why did they deny him? Well, they suspected him of being a gang member, a member of the MS-13 notorious gang from El Salvador. Why would they say that he was a member of the gang? Was there any evidence presented in the case? Was there any police reports? Did this person have any criminal background? No, nothing. All he had were tattoos covering his body. And based on these tattoos, that obviously they were quite visible on him, and also the medical exam, they took some pictures of his tattoos. Based on these tattoos, they determined that he's a member of the gang. Tattoos included images of theater masks, the Virgin of Guadalupe, and some tribal designs with paw prints. These are some of these designs and examples that might have been also seen in some gang members, but he wasn't a gang member. To support the fact that he wasn't a gang member, they brought in an expert in tattoos as it relates to gang activity in El Salvador, and these experts agreed that none of his tattoos were gang related. Despite this, despite the fact that he had no criminal record, the visa officer still denied his visa to the United States based on marriage to his U.S. citizen spouse. That means this decision is pretty controversial because it means that U.S. citizens like Munoz cannot challenge these kind of visas denials in court anymore. And more importantly, they cannot challenge these decisions based on constitutional rights. What it does, it gives more power to consular officers and less power to U.S. citizens who are already behind, who are already stuck in the visa backlogs, who already need to file these mandamus to force them to actually give you a visa interview. And what happens when you have that visa interview? They still deny you. Decision is going to make it harder for some couples to live together, to be together, because you just never know on what basis they might deny you. This case also raises the question of how ritual tattoos, symbols, what you wear, and perception of your appearance will impact decisions of U.S. officers moving forward. My recommendation to you, if you're applying for a visa based on marriage to a U.S. citizen, you've been waiting for so long, be careful how you prepare for those interviews, what you tell the medical person at the medical exam about smoking marijuana or any drugs, what you say at the actual visa interview, what documents you present. You got to be very careful because, as you can see, any little thing that these officers might suspect or feel uncomfortable, they could use that to deny your visa. I know it's hard and I know it's frustrating, but the fact that it's happening right now, and unless this thing is going to be challenged in court and file an appeal, which I hope they will, you got to be careful. You know right now it's going to be more complicated for you to apply for a green card based on marriage to a U.S. citizen, knowing that they can do whatever they want in the window and you don't have much power to fight it. So it's better to be prepared to not give them any reason to deny you if you can. That is the best advice I can tell you based on this crazy situation that we are facing right now with the case of the State Department versus Munoz. Let me know in the comments what you think, and hopefully we'll find other ways to increase the chances of your approvals at the green card interviews. Again, if you need help with your case, send me a text 619-483-4549. I'll see you in the next video.